Hi, in this video we will look at combo charts like line and stacked column chart and line and clustered column chart. They are called combo charts because you can use these charts to display two different metrics on a same chart. When you want to visualize two measures that have very different scales such as total sales and number of units, you can use a line and stacked column chart. So first let me select a line and stacked column chart, and basically you need to specify at least three different values to create such a kind of a combo chart. They are shade axis, column values and line values. Shade axis is the common axis between the two metrics. So let me select year as my shade axis. So basically we are going to compare the total sales and the units across different years. And I am going to have the total sales as my column, or rather I should put them in the column values, not the column series. And then units in the line values. So if you see here, we basically get a column chart that basically represents your total, and then a line chart that basically represent your units sold. If you see, the scale of these two different metrics are completely different. For the total sales, which runs into millions, the scale is on the left, and for the units whose scale runs into thousands, the scale is on the right. You can also add one more to analyze this chart better, or basically you can convert this column chart into a stacked column chart. So for that, what I will do is I will drag this product category column into my column series. So this will basically divide the entire column into the different products. If you add the product column into the shade axis just below the year, you will basically get a drill down chart. So let me go and add that product back into my column series. And once this stack chart is created, which is line and stack column chart, you can basically easily convert it into a line and clustered column chart by just clicking on that, and your stack chart gets converted into a clustered chart. We have various different formatting options for this chart, so let us discuss them in detail. So first let me go to my x-axis, and if you are seeing this chart, you might wonder there are a few column values or few x-axis values which are basically missing. So if you see, we have the year 2014 and 2016, but this particular column is not labeled with 2015. That's because we have the type of the chart as continuous. So go and change it as a categorical. And once you make it as a categorical, you will see each of the column has a data label. If you feel these columns are very thin, then what you can do is you can increase the minimum category width and you can set it as high as possible. And now you see that the columns are a bit thicker, and then it has added a scroll as well. Okay. Anyway, let me put that back so that I will get rid of the scroll. And if you want to increase the distance between these two columns, what you can do is you can increase the inner padding. So that will basically try to increase the distance and will give a more clear separation. And right now you see that we do not have any x-axis title, and that's because the title is set to off. So let me turn it on, and we get the title over here, which is year. If you do not like the title text, then what you can do is you can give a custom title here. So let me just type years. So I'm now done with the x-axis. So let me close the x-axis and go to my y-axis. In y-axis, if you see, we have one section for column. Okay, so all these different values will basically apply to your columns. And then here we have one section for only the line. Okay, so we have different parameters for each of the column and line. So if you want the scale of this y-axis to come towards the right, you can basically say right. So that will basically swap your y-axis of the line and the column. And the other properties are very similar to what we have seen already. So now let us talk about grid lines. If you want to get rid of the horizontal lines that you see, what you can do is you can basically turn it off and then the lines will go away. But anyway, let me turn it on. And you can also go and change the color of the lines as you see fit. So basically you can make it any color that you want, and then you can increase the width of the lines as well. And then you can control the line style by saying it as a dashed or a dotted. And then for some reason you do not want to display the line but only the column chart, but rather you would want to retain the values, then what you can do is you can go and say show secondary as off. So if you do that as off, you see that the line is still there. So if you hover over the line, you still get the units value, but just that it is not appearing as normal. So let me turn on the line. So only then I will get the properties for the line. And then here as well, you can control the position of the legend, or rather the y-axis values for this line chart. You can basically make it right, which will basically swap, or you can make it left. And if you have a log scale, you can make it to log. And the other things are pretty normal for us. So let me minimize this y-axis and talk about data colors. Here basically you can control the color of these different columns. So for example, I want to change the color of my desktop, then you can come here and change it, but the values are so low that you are not able to see them. Now let us talk about shapes. If you turn on the shade area, what happens is that the area underneath the line is basically shaded, giving an appearance of an area chart. And if you want, you can also go and increase the width of the line. And basically the joint type, so joint type is where these lines are joined. So if you make it bevel, you will get a different one, and if you make it meter, you will get a different one. And then you can also choose to show the marker, so that will basically kind of place a marker at the joining points. So if you want to change the shape of the marker, you can basically select the one that you want, and it will update here accordingly. Next, we will talk about plot area. So using plot area, you can basically add a background image for your chart. So let me say add an image, and within the dialog box, let me select the Power BI logo. And we get the Power BI logo at the background of my chart. If you want, you can reduce the transparency, or you can increase the transparency and make it available at all your charts. So it's kind of like a watermark. So in summary, we have looked at how line and stacked column chart and line and clustered column charts work. And in the next video, we will talk about the maps in specific, and also we will discuss about ribbon chart. Thank you.